Hello, my name is Ralf Friedrichs. I'm an addiction recovery coach and the host of the You Take Your Life Back Today show. As an addiction recovery coach, I want to share something with you, and let me be crystal clear to leave an everlasting impact upon you. Imagine being buried alive. You're in a coffin, but you know you're not dead. You don't know how to get out of that coffin, so you try to lift the lid. The enormous weight upon the lid prevents you from doing so. You then figure, okay, so maybe I'll bang on the lid and unsettle the dirt that's upon the lid, and maybe, just maybe, somebody might notice and start digging their way down towards me. This is what it's like to find yourself at the lowest point of alcohol and drug addiction. You know you need help, you know you can't do it on your own, but you don't know which way to turn. In reality, there's somebody standing right nearby you. You just don't know that. You just think you're going to die. Usually, though, people don't think about death when they're habitually abusing drugs and alcohol. In order to feed an addiction, you have to be great at repressing the fear of death. I often ask you, my audience, did it ever cross your mind that maybe, just maybe, you might overdose and take something that was preciously given to you by the Lord Jesus Christ, your life, away from you? And if that's not selfish enough, more selfishly would be that the people that count and love you most, you would be taking your life away from them. People like your children, your grandchildren, husband, wife, mother, father. With this, let me leave one last thought. Don't be like the person I just read about on these index cards that went to their grave when it was too late. They were looking for help, but it was too late. Be the person that calls me at 844-405-HELP, and I promise you, I will help you take your life back, for your life is gone. People like Larry Geis, 30 years as an addiction recovery coach and a life coach, could also help you. 516-458-2741, 516-458-2741, www.odysseyconsultant.org. Larry Geis and I both always tell you, our audience, it doesn't matter where you came from, it doesn't matter where you've been. What matters most is that you're here and you're looking for a better tomorrow. Call Larry at 516-458-2741, Larry Geis from the Geis Academy, www.odysseyconsultant.org. Folks, I want to jump right into this. Today, I thought to myself, because I read another accident on William Floyd Parkway, Shirley, New York, and I thought to myself, my God, William Floyd Parkway in the town of Brookhaven is like a death trap. People are being run down, accidents are happening at least once a week, and people are dying. Williams Floyd Parkway is a dangerous parkway. Now, I've sat down with district attorneys and detectives. I've received emails from county executives to senators in reference to my mother's tragic death, May 31st, 2016 at 3:05. She wasn't even crossing William Floyd. She was crossing Roberts Road, which is off William Floyd. And that's all she was doing. And yet, she was tragically run down and killed. So I'd like to bring up the last 4 or 5 incidents on William Floyd where someone, a pedestrian or someone was killed, and then go into some other details. Shirley, New York, May 31st, 2016 at 3:05, Suffolk County Police, 7 squad detectives are investigating, or were investigating, a crash that killed a pedestrian in Shirley today. Now, I'm not going to mention a name who ran my mother down, because we are in litigation with this particular person's insurance and possibly even him. But John Doe was traveling west on Roberts Road in a Dodge Ram pickup truck. When he was ready to turn north onto William Floyd Parkway and struck a pedestrian, otherwise known as my mother, on the crosswalk at approximately 3:05. The pedestrian, Margaret Friedrichs, 76, of Shirley, was pronounced dead at the scene by a physician assistant from the Office of Medical Examiner. John Doe stayed at the scene and was not injured. The car was impounded for safety checks. The investigation is continuing. Detectives ask anyone who witnessed the crash to call 7 Squad at 631-852-8752. Next one, Suffolk County Police Department. 7 Squad detectives are investigating a motor vehicle crash that killed a pedestrian in Shirley this morning. Now, this particular person was only 5 feet approximately away from where my mother was killed. I don't want to give her a whole name, but her first name was Jessica, was walking on William Floyd Parkway, attempting to cross the road at the intersection of Roberts Road. Now, do you see that? Roberts Road again. When she crossed into a path of northbound pickup truck at approximately 9:10 this morning. This particular person, Jessica, 30, Shirley, was pronounced dead at the scene by a paramedic from Mastic Beach Ambulance. The driver of the pickup truck, which I don't want to give out the name, John Doe of Shirley, was not injured. The investigation is continued. Now, both of these incidents happened at the same pretty much location, maybe 5 feet away, Williams Floyd and Roberts Road. A pedestrian crossing the northbound lanes William Floyd Parkway this morning was killed after he was struck by a Dodge Caravan. The pedestrian was pronounced dead at the scene by a physician assistant from the Office of Suffolk County Medical Examiner. The driver of the caravan, which I don't want to give the name, John Doe, 64 of Mastic Beach, was injured in the crash. This incident happened around 5:20 in the morning on William Floyd Parkway, also known as County Road 46, near Lawrence Road in Shirley. That was the third incident. The pedestrian's name is being withheld pending notification of kin. The vehicle was impounded for safety check, and police county, the 7th Squad is investigating. Next one. I think there is one more before I go into some other readings. A Shirley man died Monday after being struck by a car on William Floyd Parkway in Shirley. According to police, John Doe, I don't want to give out his name, 79, was crossing William Floyd Parkway near Lawrence Road. See, twice now Roberts and William Floyd, twice Lawrence and Roberts, when he was struck by a 1999 Oldsmobile that was traveling northbound at 11:20. John Doe was transported to Brookhaven Memorial Hospital, where he was later pronounced dead. I think Middle Island man, this is another one, was charged Monday with a hit and run of a 3-year-old girl being pushed in a stroller on William Floyd Parkway in Shirley. Police said that John Doe, I don't want to give out the name, was driving a Jeep north on the Parkway, south of Montauk Highway, so it's right near the Pathmark Shopping Center, when he struck the girl at about 3:45 p.m. The girl, who was not identified, was airlifted by Suffolk County helicopter to Stony Brook Hospital, where she was being treated for non-life injuries. Police could not immediately say who was pushing the girl's stroller across the street. The John Doe was charged with leaving the scene of an accident. He was being held overnight at 7th Precinct, scheduled for arraignment. Fatal crashes like these are avoidable, but it takes political will and funding. That's the big one. Political will and funding to reverse decades of road designs that prioritize traffic flow over everything else. It takes political will and funding to change these things. Today, advocates are in Albany meeting with elected officials and asking for $20 million annual line item in state budget to fund the kind of infrastructure that makes New York streets safer for walking and for biking. More than a quarter of all traffic fatalities in New York are pedestrian deaths. More than 25%. By far the highest share of any state in our union. We know we can do better, and in some places we are, like in Troy and Orangeburg, earned recognition from the National Complete Streets Coalition in 2015, and in New York City, traffic deaths have fallen in the first 2 years to a Vision Zero era. But Long Island's progress has been comparatively slower. Between 2011 and 2013, 220 pedestrians were killed in Nassau and Suffolk roads alone. That's not even counting my mother and many others, because that was taken from 2011 to 2013. To put that number in perspective, the boroughs of Manhattan, Queens saw about the same number of pedestrian deaths during the same time period, 222, but the total population is 33% larger and much higher pedestrian exposure rate in the boroughs and in Manhattan. According to 2013 census data, 20.9% of Manhattan and 5.5% of Queens commuters walked to work, while in Nassau and Suffolk, only 2.6%, 1.5% respectively. While we don't know all the details of this tragedy, or any of these tragedies that I just discussed, except for my mother's, which I still don't know the complete details, we do know that we don't have to accept speeding in school zones. During Nassau's short-lived speed camera program, speed violations near school fell by 70%, and while there is no speed camera at the intersection where a certain person was killed, we do know that maybe we need to have cameras almost at every intersection. When I say every, I mean major intersection. Had there been maybe no green arrow, my mother could probably still be alive. And in probably so many cases. Why is it that here we all are so concerned about waiting that extra 5 minutes to make right on red or get that green arrow? Why can't we all agree that we can wait 5 minutes to save lives? How many people in the future will die at the hands of William Floyd Parkway and Roberts Road and William Floyd Parkway and Lawrence Road? It is the political will and the funding that can change these things. As I stated, I have received many emails and letters. I have addressed these issues with some of the district attorneys. And the emails and letters that I have been getting could be from senators, in some cases county executives. But I will tell you this. The political will is in their hands, and the funding is in our hands, which go to their hands. We as taxpayers pay so much tax that the funding is being generated to put towards saving lives. The political will, if they are not willing to make the changes, it is our duty and our right to literally on the next ballot to vote them out, because the political will has to be there if we put them in office. Now, if they refuse to do the political will in changing a lot of these laws, it's time for them to go. So we provide the funding as taxpayers. We provide to political personnel. And if the political personnel cannot do their job to save our children, grandchildren, mother and father, uncle and aunts, husband and wives' lives, it is time for those politicians to go. And it is up to you, as a voter, to take care of that. May 31st, 2016, at 3:05, my mother was tragically, brutally run down at the corner of William Floyd Parkway and Roberts Road, Shirley, New York, 11967. A year before that, I only will name her by Jessica, met the same fate, approximately the same location. 2 other incidents down the road, a little further, less than a mile, William Floyd Parkway and Lawrence. 2 other people died at the hands of William Floyd Parkway. I will never go to the extent of saying die at the hands of the politicians. I will say it's up to the politicians, because they have the political say-so, and they need to have the political way and our funding to go in the right hands to change the laws. Let's prevent future accidents. I ask you all to pray that our politicians utilize our taxpayers' money to change the laws. And please, for my local friends that are within the Long Island area, if you're traveling down William Floyd, not only do not speed, please watch the lights. They change very quickly. And if you are at a red light and you want to make a right, do yourselves a favor. Even if you have a green arrow, look right and left, not just left, because whoever could be standing on the right-hand side could be your mother, like it was mine. May God bless you.